In Africa, human uses for captive raised elephants in the safari and other economically beneficial relations have meant that the long-term management of elephants, in particular male elephants, has become problematic. To overcome this challenge, adolescent elephants are released into wild populations. There has been much debate about the welfare of captive raised elephants as there is little research to support the cause. The major concern is how their social and reproductive successes are affected by human influences and their subsequent release into the wild. The matter of welfare has arisen as a concern from both the public and the coordinators of the wildlife and game parks which house these elephants. In one study, the release of 3 captive raised male elephants onto 15,000 square kilometres of the Okavango Delta in Botswana was recorded to show their herd integrations and monitor the interactions with humans. This area included a game reserve and several wildlife parks which were protected. The area also contained a number of human settlements and tourist lodges in and surrounding the delta. It is important to note that elephants are generally released at adolescence as this is the time in which they become independent. Data was collected from satellite GPS collars which were fitted before release and also from regular ground focal observations to ensure and monitor the welfare of both the elephants and the human populations in the area. At the end of the study, a comparison was made between the released and wild elephants with regard to the differences in distance to human habitations and also their social groupings as well as their habitat use. The study showed that there was no significant increase in the number of social interactions and greetings between the wild and released elephants. However, there was a greater increase in the number of social interactions between the 3 released elephants as seen in the graph. The 3 released elephants were previously part of a heavily domesticated herd which were used by a safari group before their release. In an analysis of the social behaviours, the area in which they were housed was close to and interacted with a wild population, and the captive herd was often documented in vocalization with the wild herd. Therefore, the successive release can be attributed in part to the fact that they had had previous exposure to their wild counterparts. There was also no significant increase in the sparring between the wild and released elephant, indicating that their social interactions were not an issue. Also, their habitat use remained similar, as did their distance in relation to human habitation as a collective herd. Although there have been no other long-term studies which document release, captive raised adolescent elephants are able to assimilate into a wild herd with little or no damaging effects on welfare and pose no greater threat to humans than their wild counterparts.